Okay, so I just want to rant about this because Terra's been a game that's been around for 3 years, 4 years, somewhere around there. I've played since closed beta, and I think we can all agree that it's progressively gone downhill. Pretty much since the Wonder Home patch. Wonder Home was pretty easy. I remember being able to get both sets of gear, both on the PvP side and on the PvE side, and playing Alliance, and holy cow, right? And it was starting to go downhill, and then it bounced back, and you got ABH, and you were like, ah, yeah, okay, could be kind of good, could could be fantastic. And then we got SEH. It was another decent patch. It was okay. And then this patch rolled around, and we're at I don't know. I haven't played the game in 3 months. I haven't done videos in a long time because what are you gonna do videos of the same thing over and over and over again? And if you look at the vault situations, it's pretty much who can cheat the hardest, who can stun the boss and zone out, or in the case of archers, stun the boss, fake death, and wait for your fake death to reset, and do it all over again until you've got the boss down to 1 HP, and then you kill it at 1 second, and you get your max score. So it's kind of really silly right now. So a lot of people at this point are basically doing achievement hunting and completing achievements. And then everybody has been focusing on this and discussing the improvements and the lack of support from BHS and from EME, and posting on the forums about their experience with Tera. And a lot of it's been met with zero support from Tera in general. We're in North America, so we're talking about EME. And there's been a lot of silence, deafening silence, dealing with this. And then today, and I was actually in bed, and I was reading this on my phone, and I was being a little snarky, and I saw their post come out, and I'm like, oh, well, at least somebody's working. It's the players working, but it's not, the company actually providing content for themselves. It's great. They're doing contests or whatever, but reality is these people are making them content for free, and all they're getting is support or their name out in the environment, which even then they pretty much don't. Anyway, and then I happened to scroll down, and someone was suggesting that they read the shenanigans post. So of course I clicked on it just to see if there were any new updates or what was going on in the thread. Hadn't looked at it for a day or so, and it's not there. They deleted the thread. I cannot believe that they deleted one of the most hot threads, most constructive feedback towards the game. And then the excuse that they gave was that there were personal attacks in the thread. Personal attacks. Let's just go read this. I don't want to derail the thread much because it's important to folks to have their discussion. Really, because you wouldn't have deleted the other thread if that was the case. I don't want to touch on, quote-unquote, that thread. It was a full-on rant. You think? People were telling you what's wrong with the game and how to fix it. There was no profanity. There were no personal attacks. There were suggestions on different games and how different games were dealing with the situation that we currently have in Tera. Most prominent was I was pointing out, after listening to BlizzCon and having Chris Metzen crying on air, basically, because he's so passionate about the game, having presidents and developers and of Blizzard talking about how much they play their games and how much fun they have, and wanting to make and change these games so that there's so much effort. So I use that as an example. And then they delete the thread. I have no words. I was so mad that I had to come on and rant about this. And I'll put it on YouTube because it's absolutely ridiculous. If there is anything, I hate Tab Target, and which is why I don't currently play WoW or any of the Blizzard games. Right now I'm actually doing Legacy of the Void, just finishing campaign. Because playing ladder is completely, but we're off topic here. Profanity and personal attacks, and they delete the entire thread. People spent probably hours writing like 2-page long threads about how the game can be improved and whatnot, and they deleted it. They moderated it. Like, they obviously don't want our money. I think everybody in the community feels that way. That their RNG capabilities, like if you go to their store, all it is RNG boxes. Buy 10 boxes. You might get something. You're probably not. You're probably gonna get, what is it? Oh, a semi-animatic scroll. Yeah. By the time you actually get your item, you've probably spent like $100, and you may or may not have actually gotten it, depending on how lucky your account is. Legitimately, from personal experience, I tried for the I don't even remember what it was called. I think it was the Spirit Bow, and I stopped at like $60 worth, or it might have even been more than that, and didn't end up getting the item, and that was it. That was the last time I ever bought anything from EME, because if you don't even get what you set out to get, regardless of how expensive it is, it's just why bother? What's the point at that point? Definitely not fun. And the discussion that was currently being held in this shenanigans thread was, EME is not talking to people. They're removing content. They're gender locking things just because it's quote unquote better for the economy, because they're going to make more money. It doesn't matter how much money they make. You have to provide content for your players. Like, the way the game is currently, when I cleaned up my list, and this was a few weeks ago, I had to delete almost 60% of my list because it had 60 days or more offline. That's how slow the patch is. If I go back to when the patch released, and forgive me, I don't know the date offhand, but it took 2 weeks to finish endgame content. And then it was just a grind to get plus 15 Lucid gear. So, really, it was just this big waste of time, and then for the rest of the patch up until a couple weeks ago, probably a week before Halloween, then it was pretty much 100% of my time, anyway, was spent running around the world, sitting and AFKing at bosses, waiting for them to spawn to get the world boss achievement. So, for them to delete a thread that was constructive, that was requesting feedback, was requesting transparency from EME, from BHS, that was pointing out their flaws, like when they release patch notes and the patch notes are wrong, when they promise something, like the loot in game, oh, the loot's coming, it's coming. Well, it's 2 months later, and we still have the same problem. It's actually 3 months later. Or I know a lot of people were wanting the new skins that have been released in different regions, and these are things that EME can deal with. Even situations where we're talking about like content, where, for example, we had our I don't know, you could call it transmogging, where you're able to pick what gear you want and change it so that it's specific to whatever you wanted, like any gear in the game, you could template your gear and change it, and they took that out, and they were like, oh yeah, we're gonna give you guys extra stuff through fashion coupons and whatever. That was 2 years ago. We have nothing. If you go and try to turn in your fashion coupons for a weapon, you have one choice. Unless you're Ellen. If you're Ellen, you have a couple more choices. It's not fantastic. They want you to buy skins. Fair enough. But not everybody's going to buy skins. The other crazy thing is the perception that pay-to-win games don't make money, or that's their only way of making money. Pretty much 90% of Tera players are subscription. Everyone pays for Elite. Can't really play the game without it. You can try. You're not going to get very far. It's going to be pretty boring. And let's be honest, playing without travel journal or your teleportation book, miserable. Absolutely miserable. So you're going to subscribe. And who cares? It's $15 a month. It's like going to a movie. Completely worth it. So you're getting both subscription, pay to win for vanity, but you're not getting the vanity items. You're not getting the content. It's one of the most successful games for North America. One of the most profitable games. They're private, so we don't always get the numbers. It's private again, so we don't actually get the population. But I can tell you for certain the population's gone way down. The people that are on the game are not playing. They're AFKing in town. They're farming because they think they're going to need gold for the next run. Whatever the case may be. And then they delete your opinion on the forums. They don't care. There is no care. It is their policy to silence negativity. Anything that looks bad on them. And that's just unfortunate. I hope Reddit's aflame right now. Because I personally don't think I'm going to continue playing Tera after this. Like, deleting a thread and then lying to the population that wrote the thread is just astronomically stupid. And if hiring this new PR person was their try, like, good on freaking Minea and what's his face, Tonka, for quitting when they did, because the ship's going down and time to get off. That's all I have to say. Well, that's my 13-minute rant. Sorry guys, but I had to say it. Fucking pisses me off. Tera does not deserve your dollars. And if you're playing, you should make it hurt in their pockets and stop paying for Elite. Don't buy me points. Sell your assets. Do whatever you can to gain back whatever time you can. Pick a different game.